Greetings. Today I am at the Fort Fisher State Historic Site, which was actually a Civil War fort to protect the entrance to Wilmington, which it turns out became one of the biggest ports in the South during the Civil War. You'll see it's right across from the ocean where I've been going to the beach. And I got all kinds of cars coming in here now, so I have to turn back this way and show you. They got the state flag, the federal flag, and the historic site flag. Gates close at 5 p.m. with towing enforced. They have some replica or maybe real cannons on the site. But what's interesting was I've already been here once this morning, and you can see all these big dunes and trees that are, or bushes, they actually grow this way because of the sea winds. You can see the trees up there, how the tops are all skewed, kind of like a triangle. That's from the winds off the ocean that constantly push them the other way. You can see all the trees back here, kind of sort of that way. But here's the big 50-pound. Oh, there's people all over the place, daggone it. I try not to get other people in my videos, but of course when you're out in public, there's no guarantee of privacy. So if you get in the video, you get in the video. But this sign talks about how Fort Fisher was brought back to life during, let me see, I think it was World War II. Let me see where it says. Yeah, 1943. And they did anti-aircraft training here. And women would fly these planes with kites behind them, so the men in the army or whatever was doing it could, here it is, 599th AAA AW Battalion Battery C. I guess I could read the sign to you. But basically the women were called towers because they would tow these kites behind the plane so the men could shoot at them and fine-tune their marksmanship on airplanes. You'll see a few cannons over there, a few anchors over here, and then this great big Armstrong cannon. Apparently was made in Britain, but then the projectiles they made in the Confederacy. Here, let's see what it says. The Confederacy relied heavily on English artillery during the Civil War. A variety of English cannons, including Whitworth's and Blakely's, were imported and used at Fort Fisher. The most imposing cannon at the fort was the Armstrong, 150-pound, not 50-pound, 150-pounder mounted at Purdy Battery midway along Fisher Sea Face. And there's a picture of the real one, I guess, during the war. And you can, sorry about the shadows. And this one is a replica. But you can see there's a better angle of how the trees all grow. Like they do on mountains when the wind blows, they just grow out one side. And here's a earthwork that was put up to make the fort. And I'm not sure what these two cannons are. And there's a big ship. Looks like a military ship, but it may just be a cargo ship because with those cranes, it's probably got the boxes, what do you call them, containers on it. I took some pictures of it with my telephoto earlier, and that's, I think, the Cape Fear River, which you know many movies have been made at the mouth of the Cape Fear River here. You can see the stockade-like fences that they still put up, and I'm not sure how those people got up there. There's fencing all around it, but I'm sure there's a path somewhere. I'm not going to walk around the whole place because I've already told my friend in Wilmington I'll be at her place. I said I'll leave here in about 30 minutes, and that was about 30 minutes ago. But here's just a quick check-in today. Let me go over my schedule for the next few days. I only have three nights, I think, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, left at this sit. And then I'll pick up the family Sunday night. I'll go to this sign. I don't know what it says. Maybe you can read it while I talk. The Battle of Fort Fisher, December of 1864. Yeah, I think the fort fell at the end of the war. But anyway, I picked the family, the husband and wife up at the airport Sunday night, and they told me I could stay till Monday morning and leave then. I'm either going to get into Texas Tuesday night or Wednesday night. I haven't really figured that out yet. But I am going to stay here Sunday night. I came in a night before they left so I could take them to the airport at like 4:30 in the morning, so I'm glad 6 p.m. in the evening is better. But let me tell you what's happened over the last few days. I have picked up, there's some kind of little speedboat going in front of that big parked gray boat. I see the wake, but not really the boat. Anyway, just last night I picked up a house sit in Raleigh for almost 2 months. It may be a few days shy. I think it's 58 days from approximately December 21st until the 15th or 18th of February. And then I will leave from there. I don't know if I'll go back to DC and ride the Amtrak or just drive from here, but I need to be in Denver the 23rd of February till March the 4th or so. So I am now basically booked solid until the first week of March, and I'm hoping I can get another house sit in Denver, like 2 more weeks after the 2 weeks I am with the family I'm sitting with. That would give me a month out there, which would make it worth the drive in my mind, if I drive, or the Amtrak. I'm hoping I can take Amtrak. I guess it's possible I could talk to this family about leaving the car at their house and then just catch the train out of Raleigh. But I think that takes me to DC and then to Chicago and then to Denver. So I don't know. I told them it was a long ways off. They're even willing for me to bring the dog to DC with me, meet them, hand it off, and then have a neighbor check in on the cat for the last few days that I'm on the road. They're a very accommodating family, and they live on 4 acres, and they have about 150 acres of undeveloped forest around them. That's over near a little bit to the north of Raleigh in what used to be the state capital in colonial days, which was called Hillsborough, and they've changed the spelling of it twice. I think they went away from the colonial spelling to just make it B-O-R-O, and then the town voted later to put back the borough, not instead of B-O-R-O, it's B-O-R-O-U-G-H or something. You can look it up. There's several state parks in the area. Apparently a very neat colonial style downtown. And then it's like I'll be living in a park. They had actually put in their ad that they wanted a couple. And when I applied, I said, I'm not a couple, but I have been a park ranger and a police officer. I'm not afraid to live in the woods, not afraid of the dark, basically. And that was apparently what sold them on me, because the gentleman of the family, we had a video call with both the husband and wife, and the little dog made a cameo. It's a 4-year-old terrier of some sort, so it's kind of a little bit bigger than the one I'm with now. But he said, they've had a woman do it before, but he was afraid being in New Zealand for 2 months and it being winter, if a pipe froze or something, that he thought I might be more apt to be checking those kind of things and might possibly be able to fix it, or even, to be able to patch it up until they got home or called a local repairman or something. So anyway, I'm glad it worked out. I don't care how it happened, but I'm just glad it worked out. And it does seem that God is blessing this decision in my life. So I'm going to go see my friend now. And then tomorrow I will be at the house most of the day, probably cleaning, or Sunday. The water was way rougher today here at Fort Fisher Beach, which is Kure Beach, just south of Kure Beach. This is right before there's a ferry over to Southport Beach, I think is what it's called. But anyway, so it's almost the end of the road here on this, what do they call it, peninsula of land, which I've already crossed. That might be part of the Intracoastal Waterway, but I think it's the Cape Fear River, and the Intracoastal comes into it because I'm about 6 miles south of where I turned. And I did cross the Intracoastal before turning down here. Let's see what this sign says. You can read it while I finish up. So it won't take me 2 days to clean, but so I may go out and do something tomorrow. Okay, that's a 32-pounder naval cannon. taken in June of 1861 when the naval yard at Norfolk was abandoned by the United States, banded and converted at Richmond into a 6-inch rifle mounted at Fort Gaswell, North Carolina, dismounted by exploding magazines when the Confederates evacuated that fort in January of 1865, presented by the U.S. War Department in 1902. Alrighty, well, that's all for today. I'm going to go meet my friend, see if she needs to go anywhere. She had a bad health diagnosis before I came down, but she hasn't been able to drive for several years because of another health issue. Well, I think that's a park ranger up there with them giving a tour, or park naturalist or something. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I'll get it uploaded once I get back to the house I'm sitting at. And you may or may not hear from me till my next Where's Chip Chillin', and that will be somewhere between here and Texas, or maybe several somewheres. Anyway, have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.